Over the past 75 years, more than 10,000 chemicals have entered our food supply, but the EU allows just 300 additives. At Thrive Market, we prioritize quality, banning over 1,000 ingredients found in conventional grocery stores. Our Healthy Swap scanner helps you find better versions of your pantry essentials without the junk, dyes, or fillers, and everything is delivered right to your doorstep. So shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health at thrivemarket.com/get-started for 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful people, welcome to Threshold Thursday. And you are listening to the Season of Self-Love, your daily dose of inspiration. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and today we are diving deeper into creating a sacred space for transformation. You know, yesterday we stepped into our Year of Rebirth with excitement. And as I shared the new Year Rebirth workbook, right? As well as I introduced my 9-day cleanse journey. But today we're going to prepare ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually for this profound transformation. So whether you are setting your sights on new beginnings or just simply seeking clarity, this episode will guide you in creating a sacred space that you need to step fully into your rebirth. All right, so before we get deep into today's episode, we're going to take a quick break, all right? It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks. And again, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. This year is themed out as the rebirth, the Year of Rebirth for us here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. Last year with the Year of Domination, we did so many amazing things. From challenges and all of those things. And we wanted to start off right with this new year and just the whole year in general, just so we can get back to rebirthing and allowing ourselves to build a foundation for ourselves, if that makes sense. All right. So before we get into the topic, you know how we do it here every day on the Season of Self-Love. We begin with our grounding practice. All right. So right now, if you could just find a comfortable space and just take a first conscious breath as you did yesterday. All right. Inhale deeply through your nose and exhale completely through your mouth. Now imagine yourself standing at a threshold. And before you lies your path of transformation. And behind you are all of the lessons from our year of domination. Now as you breathe in, feel the energy of possibility. And as you breathe out, feel yourself creating a space for what's to come. Take another breath in And as you inhale, I want you to envision pure cleansing light entering your body. Now, as you exhale, I want you to feel any resistance melting away. Now, one final deep breath in. And I want you to breathe in courage. Breathe in readiness. And as you exhale, I want you to feel yourself crossing that threshold into your rebirth. Now, when you are ready, open your eyes. And if you are new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something that we do again every day, Monday through Friday here, just to help ground us before we get into the topic at hand. So now that we have grounded ourselves, let's honor the decision that we made to transform. And this isn't just about another New Year's resolution. This is a soul contract with yourself. So let's talk about creating a sacred space. Now, our decision to create a sacred space leads naturally to transformation. So when we make a firm, unwavering choice to prioritize spiritual growth, just as I did a few nights ago at my altar when choosing to begin the 9-day cleanse, what I did was I set a powerful energy in motion. See, this isn't just any choice, family. It's deep soul level commitment. You see, creating a sacred space is the foundation of transformation. So let's explore 3 keys area to focus on. 1, let's talk about physical space preparation. You can start by clearing your environment, decluttering and removing distractions, as well as consider creating an altar or a focus point for reflection, using items like candles, if you do crystals, or meaningful symbols. And then incorporate natural elements like plants, fresh flowers, or water features to ground your space, as well as set up your journaling space, ensuring comfortable and inspiring. So for me, I've already had my my space, but remember I spoke about all in the month of December that I was doing my inside out cleaning, that I was cleaning everything that no longer was aligned with me, but also creating a space throughout my whole entire home that I can be able to be in moments with myself. As I said, I did my kitchen, which is very spiritual for me, as well as my front room, and I did some things in my family room, and also a little here and there here in the studio, and also my bedroom. I changed my bedroom all around, just giving me that sense of energy that just brings in positivity through it, as well as my workspace. Like what I'm talking about, I ain't gonna say try, let me take that try. I'm creating this space throughout my whole entire house. From the time you walk through my door and out the back door, from going up the stairs, then this is for me, going up the stairs, and just even in the hallway, just even in the rooms, not everybody's room. I'm trying to get everybody to jump on, but hey, just having that sense of space. So when I come out of my Golden Rose room, I still have that great energy that's going through the whole entire house. It might not be as sacred as my Golden Rose room, but then when I'm in my bedroom, I still have a nice sacred space in a corner there. And I changed my room colors to green, black, with snippets of gold and silver in there. So it gives it a nice, natural, earthy, grounding feeling inside of that. It makes it real sexy. You know what I mean? For me. But before we begin the protocols, let's take a moment to visualize clarity in spiritual connections. And see, this is by creating that energetic cleansing. For me, I use smudging. I use sage, Palo Santo, or other alternative methods like essential oils and diffuse or incense. But I also use incense. I use amber. I use lavender. And you can actually go when you go to the different stores, spiritual stores, and they have the different incense, there they have the different fragrance that they have, and it tell you what energy that they, possess, the different energy that they possess and they give off, they fuse. And so I create that throughout my whole entire home. And I say, why is it so important to me is because I live in my family. My family lives with me in my home, and so I'm unable to dictate anyone's energy, but I can dictate mine. You understand? I'm in control of my energy. So if I have that smell around and I know what makes me feel great, then of course I will want to create that whole environment for everyone else, even for guests that will come into my home, visitors, that I want you to have that same experience that I'm having in my home. Does that make sense? But also what I've done is I cleanse. So try to do sound cleansings. So with me, I have sound bowls. I use them once a week. Where I'm able to, do a nice little session with myself. And it usually happens in the middle of the week, for me. But also for you, you can have singing bowls, as I said, chimes, or even your favorite uplifting playlist, which I have that. So when I sit at my altar every morning, that is what I do. I play on what I call my vibes. It's my vibes. And it has different music from different areas that truly touch me and my spirit and soul. And it's not all, they're not even gospel songs. I think I might have one gospel song or two gospel songs on there altogether. But no, they're truly helped me to get into my mood. So I know a lot of people say when you meditate, do it be like real soft music? Not all the time, not for me. It depended on where I'm at in my energy. Remember last week or week before last, we talked about doing body checks or energy checks or the feeling of your body. This is something that I've been doing lately, and that's why I shared it with you all. When I get up in the morning, after I say my prayer in my bed in the morning, I get up and I say to myself, how do I feel? How do I feel? How is my mind? How is my spirit? How is my soul? How do I need to show up at my altar? What do I need to ask for guidance at my altar? So when I go into my room, I'm already knowing what my intentions is before I sit at the altar. So I set energetic boundaries by affirming of what to welcome into my space as well. So like I said, I check myself even in the bed. And when I say check myself, I'm asking, what's going on with my body today, my mind? Is it a good day? Am I feeling good? Is it a headache? What do I need to do? Do I need to do this much or do I need to pull back? So then when I go into my golden rose room and I sit at my altar, then I'm able to ask for guidance in the way that I see fits for what my body is. But also what this does when having energetic boundaries is just allowing who is allowed to go into those spaces. In that room that I have, everyone is not welcome in that space. And then create sacred transitions, like lighting a candle or ringing a bell or to signal a start of your practice. For me, I go into the room, I sage, and I light my candle on my altar, and then I begin my session. Whether it's a breathing exercise in the beginning, going into a meditation, or going to a straight meditation, or going into a visualization, whatever it is that my mind and spirit is calling me when I wake up in the morning in my bed and I do that check on myself, that was determined on how I show up into my golden rose room. And I'm going to tell you this morning when I woke up very tired, and let me tell you why. I had been up for maybe 40 hours straight. Yes, 40 hours straight. So that means I didn't sleep Christmas Eve. I didn't sleep at all Christmas Eve. I'm not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. So I slept on Monday. I woke up on Tuesday. Actually, I woke up on Monday night about 11:30. Yes. And I had started doing some work. Actually, I started braiding my hair and started finishing the last minute cleaning that I had to do in the house before the new year, right? Because I knew it was some things that I had to do. And I wanted to make sure that I had everything in order. And on Monday is when I was at Monday or Sunday, one of those days when I was sitting at my altar, I had decided that I was going to do the book. And so I was like, okay, I'm a little bit behind schedulings, but I truly believe that this book needs to be done because I felt it in my spirit, especially when I was sitting at the altar. And I knew that I wasn't going to be doing ebooks like I did last season, where it was an ebook almost for every series. And I said, no, we're not going to do that. That's a lot of work. And I got a lot of other projects that I'm doing that I have to make sure that at least they have something that they can take with them at home, and they can do some tools and some practicing in yourself. Because again, this is just not a podcast just to hear me talk. No, this is to take the things that we talk about in these shows, whether there are guests, whether I'm here sitting by myself, whether I have Dr. Will with me, or whoever, is to take these tools and apply them in your life. To apply them in your life. It's all about us setting up to change that paradigm, to move forward with something different and something better in your life. Does that make sense? All right. So let me tell you something. I remember during my Art of Living retreat, and I learned how much my environment affected my clarity and focus. And the insights that I gained from this book that I have been reading, that I just finished reading on New Year's Eve, was The Celestine Prophecy. It is an amazing book, The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. And actually, it was a guest of mine that came on the show in December. The beautiful Miss Shelley R. Warren told me about this book. And after the show, we had a great conversation after the show. And she stressed how important it was for me to read that book when I had time. But it was called for me to go to that book now. And why is because I knew that things were in order, was set up for me. Synchronicity. Now, mind you, we've been talking low key about synchronicity from the beginning of this podcast. And I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about from the very first time I got on the mic saying welcome to the season of self-love. It ain't been nothing but synchronicity of energy, of vibration, of frequency, of alignment. And so once I started reading that book, and I heard the amazing things that was in there, and I was resonating with this book, I said, yes. And there's so many other things that happened yesterday, that I'm going to share on Tuesday's show. And another thing, this is season 3, and I did not say that as yet. We are now on season 3 of the season of self-love. Let's clap that up. Yeah, just clap that up. Yes. We on season 3. So we're trying to break it down. Let me take that try out again. See, there you go. We are breaking these into 2 seasons a year. So as of last year, for the year of the domination, even though it was all based on one theme, we still broke it up in 2 different seasons. So the first season was setting our intentions, going into understanding of what we were. And then the ending part, the ending was so powerful because that is where we opened up for amazing guests to come in to give their stories. But not only that, that was for us to interact and change our energetic living, our energetic spirits, our energetic experiences. And so I'm excited about this book, The Celestine Prophecy. And why I'm so excited, I'm just going to put this out there for this will be our next book challenge. Don't go get it yet. I said that today, and I'm staying on. I'm making that decision today. So I don't know quite when, but when we do, because I want to set up an amazing challenge and program with it. It will be longer than the 10 days that we did with Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life, because there was so many things that happened within this book. And this book it's not a true book. It's not a real book. It's a fiction. So, but honestly, everything that was, and I'm gonna keep talking about this book, and I need to get off of it because I told myself, I said, when you say this, don't go all the way into the book, but the book is amazing. That's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna move away from it. I'm gonna step back. But the energy flow, it completely changed the way that I'm approaching everything. But the thing is, yeah. And it also, now as I begin my 9-day cleanse, I'm leaning towards these practices to truly, truly anchor me. So let me say this. This morning, I'm getting ready to be very honest with you. When I woke up this morning, I told you I started talking before I went somewhere else with it. I had been up for a good 40 hours. It was 40 hours. It was 40 hours. And it was my first day of my fast. And again, I was a little behind schedule on a lot of things, with some things. And so I did yesterday's show, and I was working on the book. And as I was working on the book, new ideas to add into the book were coming to me full force. So let me tell you about what my 9-day cleanse in detail. So for me, I committed to not getting on social media or turn on the TV or anything before noon. And I don't eat before noon. So I can drink water or herbal tea, but anything before that, no. And then I'm limiting myself to phone conversations or texts. My whole focus is in the morning is my meditation, and I spend a nice 30 minutes to an hour, depending on everything that I need to get through and my writing and everything from there. And then it's a short workout, and then is work. And then at noon, I have my first meal, which yesterday was a smoothie. It was a nice green smoothie that was good. That I do a snack, and I do, but I'm not eating any meat, no sugar, just fruits, vegetables, almond milk to put in oats, and wheat, not wheat, but grain. I'm sorry, grain. Yeah, like that. A lot of the superfoods, that type of stuff. So there I go again. So when I woke up this morning about 2:00, so I finally was able to go to bed, I guess about 8 or 9 o'clock. Mind you, I said I woke up at 11:30 on Monday night. I fell asleep, woke up at 11:30 and started working. So that's my hours. New Year's Eve, I did not go to sleep at all. So I was up that whole entire time. I brought in a new year, doing my hair, finished my hair. Then I was like, hair and makeup, let's go. I need to film because I wanted to film in real time for the first, as I'm doing today as well. I wanted to in real time for these few episodes, and then we'll be back on track. But when I woke up this morning at 2:00, I woke up. I said, thank you, God, for just bringing me here, such and such. And then I laid in bed for a minute. Before I knew it, I picked up my phone. And I'm just going to be honest, I was looking at messages that came through social media. Okay. And I laid there for a good 20, 30 minutes. And then my head started hurting. My head hurting, right? Then I was getting ready to turn on the TV, and somebody said, wait, you're fasting. You're doing a 9-day cleanse. What are you doing? And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? So let me say this. Why that has happened to me is because I was still physically tired. The one thing that I didn't do, I didn't fully nourish myself. Just because I have projects that I want to do, I still have to listen to my body. And I didn't. And so for that much, I wasn't thinking. It slipped my mind. And there I was on social media earlier this morning at 2-something in the morning, which I have to break that habit. That is one of the reasons why I was at my altar and I was called to do this 9-day cleansing. But I'm not going to beat myself about it. That was just shame on you, but you know what's your lesson that you learned from that? The lesson that I learned from that is that I have to make sure that I get ample amount of rest. Because this is for clarity, understanding, a deeper connection, spiritual connection. And so I just had to share that with you all to let you know that no, I'm not perfect. Yes, I made that little fumble, but it was a lesson that would learn, a reminder for me is that, sister, I see you working and I see you doing what you're doing. But don't go slipping back into that paradigm to where you work yourself to where you don't know where you're going, if that makes sense. If you're working yourself so much, you forget where your vision is. You forget where you're going. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. All right, my beautiful people. So let's do this. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to return. And we're going to talk about mental preparation, a deep dive into it. I have this from reading Boz Proctor's book. It was 3 things that he said, 3 elements that he said that would truly elevate someone's success level. And I'm not talking about just success in business financially. I'm talking about even when it comes to self-love. So the entire year, we're building on these 3 things, and I'm going to share them with you when we come back. All right, it's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back. What are some common barriers that prevent people from expressing? Hey, it's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here from the Season of Self-Love podcast.
Yeah, I would say remorse. So shame and guilt is a very dividing emotional.
And these are one of the many amazing conversations that we have every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Season of Self-Love podcast with myself, Nyomi Banks, as well as our resident therapist, Dr. Will Washington of Washington Wellness Institute. Come by.
The reality of our relationships with people.
Come by.
And a lot of times we're afraid of how people look at us. And so that compassion can't enter.
You can hit us on our website, the Season of Self-Love podcast.com. Hey, it's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. We're bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by. Me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG group. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to xnyomi.com and tell them Nyomi teach you. All right, my beautiful people. All right, so now that we've created our physical sacred space, let's turn inward to prepare our minds for transformation. You see, when I was sitting at my altar a few days ago, preparing for the 9-day cleanse journey, something profound from Bob Proctor's work became very crystal clear to me. And I knew that I had to implement this and bring this into our year and into every one of our series. You know, our mental preparation is like building an inner sanctuary. It rests on 3 powerful pillars. We're going to call them our DVD principles. That's what we're going to call it, DVD principles. First, there's our decision. Our decision. This isn't just a casual choice. It's that moment when you plant your feet firmly and you declare, This is my time for rebirth. Just like I decided to create this workbook for our community, you're deciding to show up for your transformation. Then comes what? Our visualization. That's the V. That's where we let our mind paint the picture of our highest self. You know, like the Celestine prophecy reminded me on how energy follows thought. So when we see our transformation clearly in our minds, we are already begin to create. And finally, our discipline, D. That's the daily practice that turns our decision and visualization into reality. And it's showing up for ourselves, using our workbook, following our cleanse guidelines, and just staying committed to our growth. All right, my beautiful people. So let's dive deep into these elements and prepare our minds for a magnificent transformation ahead. Y'all ready for this? All right, so let's talk about decision. Create a sacred time contract with yourself, committing to your practice daily, whatever that practice is for you. Also set non-negotiable boundaries to protect your time from interruptions, and choose a support system, a friend, a coach, a community to keep you accountable. And make this commitment public. Share with someone that you trust. So for me, when doing this, it wasn't just the book, the workbook, or the cleanse. It was truly being committed to not only living in my truth and walking in my purpose, but also sharing it with the world. That was a decision. That's a sacred contract that I made with myself. But also my sacred contract time that I made is that I do it every morning. Once I get up in the morning, one, because I know everyone is asleep or they've gone to work. And so the house is quiet. So it's just me in the house, in my room, in my space. So I won't be interrupted. And then my support system. To be very honest, you all are a part of my support system. At times, you make me accountable for some things. Little do you know. In doing this podcast and sharing the things what I've done, this has made my commitment public. So as they share with someone you trust, Now let's talk about through visualization. Through visualization, we strengthen our commitment to growth. But it's all about understanding what your visualization is. What does that look like for you? How are you creating that? Just as in the Celestine prophecy, it showed me the power of seeing energy. So when we hold a clear image of our transformed self in mind, we begin creating that reality. And this is why our workbook, that it will include some specific visualization exercises. So now let's talk about the different ones. We're going to develop a daily visualization practice. So you imagine your ideal self in your ideal life. You create your transformation movie, replaying your future as you desire in your mind. As well as you use workbook prompts, as we will have them coming soon, just to build your clarity and emotional connection to your goals. Last year, I used to share with you all a lot of my visualizations that I have. And one of my favorite ones is my Elevate Me Self-Discovery Wellness Center. And I'm going to share this story with you all. And I told you, when I walk into the building, there's a sense, smell, and energy that I feel, or sounds that I hear. And when I do this visualization technique and smell, I can smell it. I can hear it. It just feels just right there. And honestly, I thought I was kind of like the only one that was doing something like that until I really went to the art retreat. And I've literally saw people glowing. And when I shared it with you a few weeks ago about this, I was like, they're going to think I'm crazy. It didn't even matter to me anymore because I only can tell you what my experience is. I can only tell you on how this transformation for me, that it works for me. That's all that I can share. I cannot not speak about it. I can't because that would not be my authentic self. That's why I shared that I did a boo this morning. Like, I got my tail on a dang what's name so quick. But then I caught myself and I was like, girl, but you got to talk about this morning on the season of stuff. Like, you got to talk about it. You got to talk about it because these things happen. So what I did, I just got up. I said, okay. Took me a nice shower. Said some affirmations in the mirror. Then I went to my golden rose room and sat there and did my whole thing. Had a nice little time in there. A nice little time. And then now I'm here recording this episode. No lie, I was like, oh my God, I'm late. I usually have the shows up there. And I said, let me tell you something. You cannot rush anything. Take your time. Take your time. Because when you go in there, you want to be intentional when speaking. You want to be intentional when sharing your heart. Because that's what I'm doing. When I get on this podcast every day, even if I'm pre-recording, I'm giving my heart. That's one thing that I did love about that book that I'm not supposed to be talking about so much, is that it's something that they kept saying about love. About love. You know, and I always say lead in love. You have to. But how can you do that when you don't know how to love yourself? And that's what the season of self-love is about. Again, I'm going to tell you, it's about having those intimate relationships with yourself and understanding who you are and how it works. But in also knowing that you can grow, you can elevate, you can transform in anything or anybody that you want to. Just yesterday, I received a text from one of my aunties that I had told her about the book, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life by Bob Proctor. And actually, she is also the one that I am doing the accountability challenge with her. Even though I finished my challenge with my sister, I said, no, let me keep going. And so I'm now doing it with her. And just out of the blue, she sent me this message. And she was just like, thank you. This right here has truly transformed the way that I'm thinking, the way that I feel, and I do understand it now. It makes me better understand me, but also makes me better understand where I want to go. A lot of times we say we want to go somewhere and don't know where it is. We don't even know how to get there. And you know why? It's because we have so much stuff, all of this layers and layers and layers of bullshit that we have accumulated over the years. And we don't know how to get rid of it. We don't know how to remove it. A lot of people say, well, we embrace it and move forward with it. Do we really embrace it? Do we embrace it in a healthy way? Do we embrace it to where it actually helps and is a catalyst for our growth? No, we don't. But that is what we do here at the Season of Self-Love. That is what we do here. So when you start creating that transformation movie for yourself, do it. Don't be afraid. Step in it. And as Bob Proctor would say, be as wild as you want to be with it. Because this is you. This is what you want. Not nobody else, but what you want for your life. All right. All right. So now let's talk about discipline. Our D. Discipline becomes easier when we prepare our environment for success. Just as we learned in our paradigm work last season, when we created structures that support our growth, we make space for miracles. We make space for the unexpected to happen. We open and we make that space for new good energy to come in, because now you have removed all of that other process mess all out of there. Does that make sense? So this is why you need to create a DVD practice, because it's going to be very powerful when you do this. So this is for discipline, all right? You're going to design a morning routine that energizes you as you ground you, all right? That's going to energize you and is going to ground you. So yes, I'm giving you some tips, but it's ultimately up to you to how you're going to do that. Now, if you're new here and you hadn't listened to any of the past episodes, I advise you go listen to season 1 and 2. Yes, because it would truly, truly help you. And it will give you the tools on where we are right now. As I said yesterday, we had a Zoom meeting with from the participants of the listeners that were a part of the 10-day book challenge of Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. And it was great. And I said, you know what, this is something that let me take that tray out. That tray just want to get in there. I'm going to implement in this monthly. But it has to make sense and it has to be aligned, and it can't be nothing that I forced. But I definitely want to do something like that, because I would love to see the faces of some of you that are listening. I want to truly be able to understand, but not only that, but help you to get over that threshold. But even though I am a transitional life coach and I have some clients, but I believe a lot of you that are listening to this podcast is more to where it needed to be aligned. And I'm here. Even if it's just a question that you need to ask. So this is what you do with discipline. I'm going to say it again. Design a morning routine that fits best for you, that energizes and grounds you. Practice your evening reflection, reviewing your progress and celebrating your wins. And then set up an accountability system, whether it's through your journal or a supportive partner. You track your progress with the method that works for you, like habit trackers or daily affirmations. But set that up for yourself. And if you say, Nyomi, no, that don't work. No. First, you got to change your attitude and go in forward with it with positivity and say, I desire for change, for elevation. That I truly want to be in love with myself. I understand a lot of people are skeptic on self-love, but I'm trying to figure out how. How can you be skeptical about self-love? How can you be skeptical about self-help? How? Because if this is something that you claim to want and desire in life, because honestly, what you've been doing haven't been working, right? Right? All right, we're going to go real quick because I didn't realize we was going to go this long today. I did not realize that we was going to go this long today. But this is something that I wanted to do, as well as I wanted to give us a few exercises. And, because discipline isn't about forcing. It's not about forcing yourself to change. It's about creating loving structure that support your rebirth. So now we're going to do 2 tangible exercises, all right? One is called the sacred space mapping exercise. And this was inspired by our guest from last month, last season, Mr. John Diggs. And so right now, I know Dr. Will always say, grab your purpose paper and purpose pen. I want you to go grab your journal. You don't have your workbook just yet. Grab your journal. And I want you to draw a circle in the center. We get ready to do this right now. Right now. I want you to draw a circle in the center. In that circle, that represents your sacred space. So right now, we get ready to map it out for you, all right? So then you're going to divide the circle into 4 quadrants. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to do a physical setup, an energetic elements, a time boundary, and a support system. Or you can do the circle and out. Whichever. We're going to do it that way with the mind and with the circle. We're going to do that like a little pie. And then write specific elements, you including each of those quadrants to make your space truly sacred. Does that make sense? So now we get ready. Now you have a map out on what you want your space to look like. All right, so let's talk about the threshold crossing ritual. All right, no, we're not doing no witchcraft or nothing here. This is something for you to have your own rituals. It's good for people to have their own personal rituals. It really is. Choose your threshold symbol. It can be a door, a candle, or even a simple mantra. You write your crossing statement, something like, I step into my rebirth with courage and grace. That's mine. I step into my rebirth with courage and grace. And then design a daily practice to reinforce this commitment, such as lighting a candle each morning. That simple. And then set your success metrics, like journaling your progress, or even noticing your mindset that shifts, your mindset that shifts, noticing that and acknowledge it. So during my 60-day accountability challenge is where I saw that discipline, that it truly creates freedom. Now I'm bringing that same energy to our year of rebirth. So anyone who has finished their 60-day accountability, that's 60 days. That's 60 days of listening to the same book or reading the same book over and over again. But not only that, but that you were with someone else and you speaking to them and you talking, and you know what I'm saying? That is discipline. So it truly prepared you for this year. Just don't sit with that. Don't sit with all them notes just sitting there with it. Use them. Use them. So family, this is where our DVD principles come together. Beautiful, don't it? Don't it? Your decision is to join this journey, opens the doors. Your visualization of your transformed self creates the path. And your discipline to show up daily, use your workbook, journal, and participate in our class, that's what makes it real. Just as Mr. Bob Proctor taught us that, as we've seen in our community, transformation stories, when you are aligned, these 3 elements, decision, visualization, and discipline, rebirth isn't just possible, it is inevitable. All right, my beautiful people. You know, as we created these sacred spaces, we're preparing ourselves for a very profound transformation. And tomorrow and Freedom Friday, we'll dive into releasing what no longer serves us. So don't forget to download the workbook. It'll be available on Monday. Join our private community on Ongoing Supporters on Facebook. And let's make the year of rebirth unforgettable together, all right? So until next time, remember that you are so worthy and you are capable. and this is your time to shine. Have an amazing, amazing day. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.